Welcome to the Story Eyed Podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Jen. On this show, we talk about all things Williams syndrome. We're excited to share our community with you. Thanks for being here.
John Lennon said, "I don't believe in Beatles. I do believe in me." Yeah, the interview with Milton was so good.
Yeah, it was so great.
Definitely going to have him on again because it was just, I really appreciated also how he talked about it in terms of chat, about using AI and stuff, but, he has a really good gift of breaking things down into plain language, which is
nice.
Which was really nice.
Layman's terms are sometimes definitely helpful.
Especially when you get into technology and it's so complicated and
not only technology, like medical side of things too, and
sure,
all of the above.
And Jen, the stuff that you brought up about, like using AI to help break down like reading material that might be a little bit just a little bit too advanced for your kiddo where she's at, or in my case where he's at now, but you can break it down a bit. I'm like, that's
another way that we're using AI, which I didn't mention yesterday, is for example, like if the para is in a class with Stella and they receive gen ed, if they receive something that is like maybe an essay on something, right? The para can use Chat GPT to say, like, here's what we're working on. Can you make this into a word bank, or can I make this into graphic organizer? And so like that work on like at least in our school, like the challenging thing is to get things done proactively so that by the time Stella gets into the class, it's like ready for her.
Right.
And AI is giving the para a tool to be able to do that real time. And so instead of being reactive, it's helping us like teeter on proactiveness. And so I'm also seeing it as like a great tool for the paras. They're using called like Magic School or something, but it's like a school-based. Yeah, so we're just like dabbling into it now, but it's really fascinating the things that it can do, and it can do it in minutes. So you still need like the human element to look at it and go, okay, like this is gonna work. But
just like any AI thing, you gotta review it.
On it. But I mean, like, gosh, it's turning into such a game changer for her. And I would have never thought, like, when I thought of AI, I didn't think of it in that way. So now I'm trying to lean into like, what could this look like in terms of like tools for people with disabilities? It's pretty cool.
Dear listener and viewer, as you're watching the interview with Milton, if you think of any other things that you want to hear Milton talk about, whether it's internet safety, phone safety, or other ways to use AI or technology, let's just do broad technology, send us a comment, write us. We will have him. We will definitely have him back.
For sure. Because I always read the comments and stuff. So
Brendan is all over. Sometimes it takes me a little longer to get to him, but but Brendan's on top of it. And also, this is episode 50. Congratulations, we made it to 50 episodes.
Yay!
We had initially thought we were going to do a big like blowout special edition, fun, silly episode. But
life happens.
Things.
Life.
Yeah. So instead, we're just going to do a regular old episode. Yeah, we'll do something fun for the 2-year anniversary, which is coming up.
We'll do something fun.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's very exciting. So we have.
Then Christopher, who was very, very excited.
Yeah.
Of the excitement. And it's just a great example of like, if you want to be on the podcast and you have something to say, like email us and we will find a spot for you. Sometimes quickly, sometimes that doesn't, but we do make a great effort to try to get everybody on the show.
Yeah. I mean, we literally still have, I would say at least 75, submissions to be on the show that, that
Gee, that's awesome.
that I'm just kind of going through, seeing, and a lot of time, yeah, or I mean, it's a bunch. It's a
Yeah.
from that people have submitted just in the questionnaire. That's not even including the people who have just emailed and said, I want to be on. And then I, say, send them the link. And then they, for whatever reason, don't fill out the link. But, like I said, the goal is that at some point we will get through and everybody who wants to be on will get a chance to come on and tell their story.
Yeah, we loved having Chris on. Thank you, Chris.
So, all right, well, let's get to it. Let's jump in and let's go. Let's get Milton and Christopher.
Let's go. All right. Well, hi, Milton. How are you?
Hello, Brendan. I'm doing great. Hello from Tennessee.
Yes, awesome state. So for those who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Definitely. So my name is Milton Neuenschwander. I actually work for the state of Tennessee Department of Disability and Aging. I'm the director of their enabling technology program. It's a great job. It's so much fun because I get to basically work with technology as well as people with disabilities and older adults and help them look at technology, find really cool, interesting, innovative, and emerging technology that could be helpful in their daily lives. To do what they want to do to reach their goals in life. And I get to play around with technology. So I can't complain about that. Some people, think that I'm a technology expert, but I don't know if anybody could ever say that they can be a technology expert whenever technology is always changing. New things are always coming out in technology. Mm-hmm. So I consider myself somebody who is, technology forward and can answer questions about technology.
Very cool.
How did you get into this type of work? It's a very specific lane that you're in.
Very niche.
Yeah. Yes, very, very much so. So I kind of fell into this position and I was glad I did because I love taking, working with people with disabilities. I've been doing that for about 20 years now in a whole bunch of different facets. I was a caregiver, a direct support professional. I've been, managers and such. And then as I was working with the state of Tennessee Department of Disability and Aging, we came up with this idea to start looking at how technology can play a role in people's lives with people with disabilities. And they knew that I had a passion for technology. From, very young, I built my own computer before going to college. I did all these computer networking stuff. And so because of that passion, they thought, hey, you know how to help people with disabilities? You love technology. How about you become part of this pilot program to start looking at technology and how people with disabilities can use it? And one thing led to another, and now I'm the director and having so much fun and having a blast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, now, am I right in this that you did come to our convention and you presented? Okay, I missed your presentation, which I don't know how that happened, but I would love to just hear like the topics that you touched on at that convention, and then I think that'll get us like a good start into all the questions that I have for you.
Yeah, it was actually my first WSA convention, and I was glad I was invited. It was such so much fun, just meeting all the different people, looking at the community that was around, WSA, and they invited me to come talk about just different technology topics. And so I had a presentation about digital safety, like digital safety 101. So that was a very important topic that they wanted me to talk about with technology because, with today's day and age, you have to be safe on the internet. You have to be safe when using different types of technology devices. And it's a very important topic within our program as well. So that was one topic I talked about. Another topic was just about how technology can be used for, people of different ages and how technology, especially these newer emerging technologies like smart home technologies and mobile applications and softwares, how they can be used to help people become more independent in their lifestyles and basically give them the confidence to do more things on their own, to reduce their reliance on some caregivers so that they can have that confidence to achieve their goals in life, and just basically learn how to use technology in a safe, functional way that can improve their lifestyles. And I think the last one I did was kind of just inclusive accessibility that has been built into mobile phones and smartphones, and all the different accessibility features that a lot of people don't know are on their mobile phones already, that could really make a difference in how they use their smartphones and devices.
Stella's had a phone for about a year now. And
Nice.
I actually think, like, I was really nervous about it. And what I found was that there was, it's just like anything, right? There's some things that, like, I didn't think of that I'm like, oh, those are issues we have to work through. But conversely, I see that it's been a huge access to community for her. And I see that she's able to work on like skills that have been struggles for her. So for example, like writing, right? Like it's hard for her to write, but like just the act of using text message as a tool to communicate, I think it has broadened some of her skill sets in that way. So I'd love for you to talk about just in general, like, what do you say to parents who have people and they're nervous about giving them like access to this type of technology? Are you seeing something similar where it's giving them that pathway to independence?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole purpose for our program, is to show people how technology can be a pathway to building their confidence, as to do more things on their own, as well as building their pathways to independence. And, you know, a smartphone device is always a tricky device, especially around those like early teenage years, because a lot of parents have those questions on, you know, are they old enough to have a smartphone, and what are some of the dangers, or what are some of the drawbacks of having a smartphone? And so a lot of times when I talk to parents, you know, it's all about finding a good match towards what the person wants to use the technology for, and how to keep them safe when using the technology, right? And sometimes I will tell them that maybe you want a stepping stone, and maybe start out with like a smartwatch, which, you know, can do a lot of the similar things as a smartphone, but you can also make sure that it also limits some of the things that a smartphone can do, but still has that connectability. You can still call out, you can still have certain apps on it, and so on and so forth. The other thing with smartphones is that we have been finding that these are very valuable tools, especially towards, like you said, building people's independent living skills. And they're pretty much a computer in your pocket. And so we have a program here in Tennessee called MAPS, and it's specifically designed for youth transitioning out of high school into adulthood. And a big part of our program is just providing them with a smartphone that has specific apps and features on it that they can learn how to use it to build those skills. And so, you know, it's amazing what they're able to do with these smartphones. We have some people that are using smartphones to travel in their communities. So they're learning how to use some apps, kind of like Lyft and Uber, safely, so that they can travel more on their own. They're also using these smartphones to find certain locations in their community, so that they can build memberships and find contacts and build their social groups among their community, as well as, you know, find directions to some local favorites, places that they like to visit. We are also using these phones to provide step-by-step schedules, you know, picture schedules and task promptings, so that they can be more productive and not forget about certain daily tasks that they have to do, and make sure they remember any activity or event that they have to attend. So, like I said, there are many computers in your pocket, and if you know how to use them safely, securely, there's a lot of really useful apps and features on the phone that can really boost people's independent living skills.
Are there like a handful of tips that you give like a first time phone giver to a person with a disability? What are like the must-haves?
The must-haves, well, again, it's all dependent on how the person wants to use it. But as far as like being safe with the device, the must-haves for just being safe with any device is, first becoming familiar with your device. So going online and learning more about how the device and where to find certain features on your device, talking to somebody to understand how to set up the device and set up those safety and security features on your device. That's the first thing I would recommend, is that with any new device, you should talk to somebody or go online or find a manual to fully understand what is all available through that device and how to set it up properly. And when you're setting it up, the first things that I usually do is look at some of the safety and security features on the device to make sure the device is safe and secure, right? So one big thing is always setting up a passcode or a lock screen on your smartphone, right? So that only you or your parent can get into it and access the information on it. Like I said before, these devices like smartphones are like mini computers, and they store a lot of information and the personal information on it. And so you only want certain people to have access to that personal information. So it's very important to first go in there, set up that passcode, set up that lock screen to make sure only certain people can access it. And then also go into the settings and start setting up your accounts and organizing it, right? Setting it up so that certain people are on your contact list and you can easily find them. Because like you were saying, that these are very valuable tools to be in contact with family and friends and anybody else that they may need to contact in times of emergency or just to get help at any such time. So you want to make sure that it's really easy for them to find that contact person and to call them. And one of the big things we found, especially with people with disabilities, is these phones allow you to take pictures of people and have a picture next to the name, so that it's easier to find, especially to notice that face, and they can easily click on it.
Facial recognition, yeah.
Yep. Facial recognition or just having that picture there can help better organize it. So the must-have is setting up the phone so it is easy to navigate with the individual, and that it's safe and secure. So that's the first thing that I would highly recommend.
Yeah. Is there, and I'm asking this because I have no idea, I'm just assuming, is there a better like phone platform to be on, like for people with disabilities? Is Apple better than Android? I've heard Apple is that they have more like features that work for people with disabilities, but I would love to hear your take on that.
Yeah, this is a question that we get all the time, Apple versus Android. And so let me tell you a little bit about the differences, and then I guess I can give you my opinion.
Yeah.
But before I give you my opinion, I have both. So I have both Apple and Android and all these other. So I don't know if that makes a difference, but yeah, the nice thing about Apple devices is that Apple does a really good job of making sure that their platform is similar throughout all of their devices. So if you have an iPhone, no matter what year of iPhone, the software and the layout is going to be similar for that year, as well as in iPads. So if you have an iPhone and an iPad and an iMac, they're all going to be compatible with each other, and they're all going to have similar like accessibility features. With Android devices, and when we say Android, those are like Samsung phones or Google phones or like the Google Pixel or whatever, Motorola. So those have what we call Android systems on them. And the thing with Android devices is that a lot of times they have differing Android software in them. And so one Android, like one Samsung phone, depending on what year it is, may be a little different from another Samsung phone on what features it has and things like that. So if you have the newest version, a lot of times that's best with Androids because they get all the updates and stuff. But there's no guarantee that a new Samsung phone and a Samsung phone that is 4 years old will have all the same stuff in it as far as features go. And so Apple compared to Android, Apple does a really good job with its accessibility features. Like you were saying, that they have built in really amazing accessibility features when it comes to vision impairment, hearing impairment, adding additional focus to the device. If you want to make it more focused, accessibility for enlarging text. They have a whole website full of accessibility features that they have built into their product. And also YouTube, a YouTube accessibility site where it shows tutorials on how to activate all of those, which is amazing. So Apple does a really good job of thinking about people with disabilities and how people with disabilities will be using these devices and organizing it so people with disabilities can utilize these devices better. So in a sense, I kind of lean towards Apple in that direction because of how aligned it is throughout their devices and their accessibility features. However, I will say that more and more Android phones and devices are starting to catch up with Apple. They're starting to build in more and more of those accessibility features. So if you have an Android device, it has more accessibility features than it did 5 years ago. And so it's just, a lot of times it's preference. And a lot of times it comes down to, what is your mom or dad using? And can they help me with the device, right? So if my mom's using an iPhone and I need to get help from her to understand how to use my iPhone, then I'm probably going to have an iPhone. So it's usually who's going to be helping you with using that device is going to make the final decision on which type you're going to get.
Yeah, that's so true. Because if you had me an Android phone, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't
exactly. So
I can't touch it.
So you might as well just get an Apple phone and just help each other out, right?
Yeah, the last couple phones I've had were iPhones, and before that it was a old like Samsung Galaxy S3.
Yeah. What do you think of the iPhone, Brendan? Do you feel that it's a little nicer, or do you feel like you can use it a little better than the Samsung?
Yeah, I mean, I have a MacBook, so and an Apple Watch.
Yep.
And my
so
aunt,
it just made sense, right? It just made sense to go Apple then.
Yeah, my aunt used to work for Apple, so it was kind of a no-brainer, you know?
Exactly. And that's where some of these technology kind of companies get people, is that once you're bought into their Samsung headphones and Samsung TVs and such, then people just want their Samsung tablets and Samsung phones to go with that kind of that ecosystem, as we call it. So so a lot of times it depends on what you're familiar with, what you like to use, which brands you like to use. And then you ask somebody like me who is, a subject matter expert in different types of technologies to say, how can I use this to help my son or daughter with disabilities?
Yeah, like one of the things that we worked on, we're actually still working on it because I'm not really a technology savvy person, is in Apple, like we can put certain contacts in Stella, my daughter's phones. We can actually also, I believe, like put how many times she can call that person. So like we have if it were given Stella's like choice, she would call somebody 100 times because she doesn't realize like that's, not a social norm. So we can put some limits on that. We can put limits on who she can contact, which has been helpful. So we know the people in her phone are safe and trusted contacts. I guess, what's your stance on social media, and like, how do we navigate that for people with disabilities? Because at least like in the Williams syndrome community, it seems like our, community is so wired for connection. And so they like that ability to connect through social media apps, but they bring a host of challenges, as you know.
Yeah. So I must admit, I'm not a big social media guy, but you're exactly right, Jennifer, is that, these younger generations, people other people are wired for this online connection through social media and sharing things through social media. And we have actually found through our program that social media can be really helpful towards finding information towards independence. I mean, I talk to my colleagues and they say that they go on TikTok and find recipes and things like, and favorite recipes that they had and things like that. And they learn things through TikTok and things like that. And I was like, well, I didn't even know social media could be that educational. So with that being said, though, you're exactly right. You also need to be very careful about how you interact with social media. And more and more of these social media sites are starting to come out with what we call like privacy, safety, and security policy. And so if you're a younger person who is trying to use social media, and if you're a parent that is trying to help your son or daughter use social media, it's very important to go to the individual social media's website and look at their privacy support and safety and security policies. Because some of them actually allow you to kind of help manage who they interact with and such. And so that's really important, that anybody who goes on social media, look at those privacy, safety, and security profiles and policies. Make sure you set them up correctly so that you can stay safe while on those social media sites. And the other best thing for parents is just stay attentive to how your son or daughter is using those social media sites. Have a conversation with them. Ask them what they've learned through those social media sites, who they're talking to, and help them understand the goods and bads of doing those things. So just be involved with them and just make sure they're using them correctly. Brendan, do you use any social media sites?
I do. And primarily I use Facebook and Instagram, sometimes Twitter. I'm not on TikTok as much. I like social media, but I also don't like social media.
Yeah.
Brendan, that you're exactly right, that it's absolutely fine if you're using social media and it's getting a little overwhelming, just stop using it for a while. And that's the nice thing about technology. You could always just turn it off. You're not going to hurt the technology's feelings if you turn it off for just a little bit of time, and just take a time out, from technology and take a break and try to, to recalibrate and refresh yourself and go.
We call it pausing for station identification.
Pausing for station identification. I like that. I might have to use that, Brendan.
Pause for some station identification. Take a breather.
Exactly. I might have to use that in something.
Come back. Yeah.
One of the things that we did with Stella, which this probably has a whole host of issues. So I'm not suggesting this for people, but it's like one thing that worked for us is like when we eased into getting the phone, and like I actually like paired her with my phone. So like basically it was my phone on her phone. And so I could see everything that she did. And that was really interesting to see. Again, I had like this worst case fear, right? That she was going to get on everything and post all kinds of things and call all kinds of people. And I mean, she definitely does that, but not in the intensity that I thought she would. So over time, that gave me the confidence that she was ready to have like her own phone number and her own contacts. But she still, she likes social media. She likes to look at things on social media, likes to look at friends, likes to look at videos of guinea pigs on TikTok. And so she actually can see those on her phone, but from my account. And again, that has some challenges, right? Like sometimes she'll like message people randomly or try to call people through Instagram. But, I also am kind of aligned myself that like if you're friends with me on there, like, and I don't feel comfortable with you talking to Stella, then we probably shouldn't be friends, right? It's helping me build that trust. And I think you were talking about this, Milton, like how many of these social media apps now are coming out with like more of a kid safe type of way to access. So like Instagram just came out with one. So now I think like, because I've seen what she's been doing, I feel comfortable that like we could easily transition to that teen account where I could have visibility over it and she could have some independence. So it's like definitely like a stair-stepped process.
Yeah, definitely. And I think now that, like you said, those social medias are coming out with a more user-friendly way of kind of transitioning your young adult into these social medias, that I recommend that would be the best way to go, is making those kid-friendly accounts, and so that you can have oversight, but also have your own Twitter account or social media account back to yourself again, and be able to do the things you want to do on it as well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Now it's just like we're one and the same for sure.
Exactly.
But I would love to hear, a couple of months ago, I was at a seminar, education seminar, and I heard somebody speak about AI and AI's presence in supporting individuals with disabilities. And it was fascinating. I would love to hear like your thoughts on AI and how we can start to use AI to support our folks in the Williams syndrome community.
Yeah. So artificial intelligence, AI, is the new big buzzword, in technology. It's everywhere now. And actually, AI has been around for quite some time, but it's just recently came into the limelight because of all the new innovative features and things that it can do. And we have actually been looking at, how can AI be something that could be beneficial to people with disabilities, to older adults, to you or I, and to be functional in a sense that it could be helpful for us, right? And there's a lot of different types of artificial intelligence. So I'll try to describe my ideas in those different ways. So first off, the big thing that everybody's talking about are these open source AI, kind of generative AI software that's out there, like ChatGPT and Clyde, and now Gemini is out there with Google. And then you have Apple AI that's coming out, and Meta AI that is being incorporated into all these different Meta devices. And so those are what is at the forefront of all these discussions. And basically, what those are basically machine learning type of software tools that you can ask it any question, and it goes out into the internet, the Google universe, or whatever AI you're using, and it searches for the best answers, and then it gives you a really organized answer according to what you asked, right? Mm-hmm. And so this AI kind of came out first off with, some of your smart speakers, Amazon Alexa, Google Home Hub. That was considered artificial intelligence as well. But this newer AI is a lot smarter, as they're saying. It can actually deduce and come up with new things and give you and problem solve and things like that. So what we have been seeing and what people have been trying to use it for is to have insightful conversations with these chat GPTs and Geminis, and ask it questions. So people with disabilities can say, hey, I would like to take a trip to Florida. What are some of the steps that I need to consider, or some of the things I need to consider to plan a trip to Florida? And then I'll start asking a whole bunch of questions. Well, what part of Florida are you looking to visit? And you answer what part of Florida, and then I'll give you some highlights of what's around that part of Florida that you could visit. And then I will tell you, ask you if you're planning on driving or flying. And if you say flying, then I'll say, well, then you have to make sure that to find a plane flight and get a ticket and, all these boarding. So it will pretty much lay out and give you advice on how to do different things according to what you ask it. And I'll have that conversation, just kind of like a back and forth. What I will tell you, though, is that these artificial intelligent platforms save everything you talk to it about. So it's very important that you only talk about things that you want to share. Just like with social media, is that you only post things that you want to share with the public. If you have a picture, you're only posting things that you want other people to see. And that's the same thing with these new AI softwares, is that you only talk about things that you would want to talk about with somebody you don't know, and that you're fine with them. And that's where it gets a little tricky. And it's very similar to social media, is that you need to make sure that anybody using these AI platforms understand how to be safe with talking to these AI platforms.
Yeah, you know what I've seen and noticed that's kind of interesting and kind of cool to me is I watched a video the other day of a tattoo artist using Chat GPT to actually like help with designing the tattoo, and AI to help design the tattoo, and it was really, really cool.
Yep.
So it's cool to see people in that industry kind of use it to their advantage and help out with that kind of thing.
Definitely another way that people are using AI for artistry, coming up with different pictures and different new, artistic portraits and stuff like that. People like to take pictures and they'll use AI to add certain things to the pictures or delete certain things to the pictures. So that's another form of AI, is kind of photo editing AI. So yeah, it's amazing what you can do with these different types of artificial intelligence.
One of the ways that we're using it in school, we're using it to help make curriculum more accessible to her. So, for example, if she's in 8th grade and they're reading a book that's written for an 8th grade reader, we can use ChatGPT to modify that book to a 4th grade level. Or we're using it to help ChatGPT to help Stella. It's hard to explain exactly, but like help her with framework when she's writing, because writing from a comprehension standpoint, right, she tends to be limited in her vocabulary. So giving her the use of ChatGPT to help like round out her writing. There's a whole host of ways that from an educational standpoint, you can use AI, and it does help bring accessibility to the curriculum for our kids. So that is probably a whole other Oprah we could talk about. But I found it interesting because I didn't think about AI in that way until I had heard that person present it on it.
Yeah, and more things are going to come out, on how we could use AI, and it's important to just, make sure that you're safe while trying to use AI, and just try it out and find out what works for you. So yeah, it's a very unique new tool that we have, and our big part of and purpose of our program is to stay in front of some of these newer technology things and try to educate people on how they can be useful and how to be safe with them. So just everything that you just said is a good approach towards seeing how you can use something as new as AI.
Yeah, Brendan uses AI to take notes, and we've been in a few meetings where his AI note taker comes on, and it's actually like one of those things where we later, right, like the group is like, oh my gosh, like Brendan, we're so happy that your note taker was taking notes, because we could go back through and read it too. So it's not just helpful for people with disabilities, it's like helpful for everybody.
Yep. Right. Yeah, I use AI for a number of different things. Like you were saying, I use it sometimes to rephrase different things that I want to write or talk about. Also, we need, a lot of times in my field, we want to put things in what we call plain language, something that's easier to understand, because we have a lot of different service definitions and all these different acronyms and stuff that we use. And so a lot of times we'll just put like a section of something that we want to be a little bit easier to read, and we ask ChatGPT to put it more in plain language, and it puts it into that plain language and makes it a little easier for us to understand.
Yeah, no, that's so great.
There's a really cool website through Pennsylvania called Smart Home that was made in combination with Pennsylvania's Department of Disability, and it's called smarthomesmadesimple.org. And so if you go to that website, it's really cool. It lays it out as far as how to use different smart home devices according to different equipment, or different outcomes, I should say. And so if you're looking for smart home devices for cooking safety, you click on that little box for cooking safety, and then it shows you all the different smart home devices that you could use for cooking safety.
Oh, cool.
So So there's little nuggets here and there around that talks about technology and how to use technology for people with disabilities. And that's kind of where you can find it. But I wouldn't say there's one, just one dedicated website to everything. However, I will tell you another nice nugget is that each state should have some kind of technology access program, either through a university or something that was established a while back. And those are very useful organizations through that technology access program that could provide you with a lot of great information on how people are using assistive type technologies and other types of technologies for people with disabilities. Some of them even have their own training courses. Some of them even have lending libraries where you can lend out certain technologies. They may also have grants and stuff for people to get technology themselves. So go to your local technology access program, and they would be a great resource just to understand where to find those nuggets on the internet about technology, and also learn more about assistive technology that's available.
Well, thank you. This was fast and furious. If people are interested in reaching out to you, is there a way to do that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ways you can do that. I believe, I always provide my email address on any presentations that I'm doing. It's just basically my first name, Milton.Neuenschwander, which is my last name, at TN for Tennessee.gov, G-O-V. Okay. You could also go to the Tennessee Department of Disability and Aging website. If you look underneath our enabling technology page, at the very bottom is my contact information as well. And I love to talk to anybody, answer questions, and just chat about technology, and especially if you're interested more in how technology can help your son or daughter with disabilities.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're going to have you on for a second episode, I feel like.
Yeah, this went by so quickly, and I know that we covered a lot of stuff, but there's just so much more to talk about technology, and I could do this for hours. So
I feel like we barely scratched the surface when it comes to technology. So definitely hit the second episode for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So thank you for having me on. This is nice, just talking about technology.
Wow, Chris, how are you?
Doing awesome, man. This is great. I mean, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and finally I get to do this, and this is great.
Yep. So for those that don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
My name is Christopher McClung. I'm from Santa Maria, California. I have Williams syndrome, and I go a lot of places. I like to do a lot of fun stuff, and it's great.
That's awesome. You're going to see AC/DC, right?
Oh my God, I'm so freaking stoked to see that concert. I mean, me and my dad are huge AC/DC fans, so.
Yeah, that's gonna be wild.
I know. Angus Young, one of the greatest guitar players ever. I mean, it's gonna be crazy.
Where are they playing?
At Las Vegas Raiders Stadium.
Oh my gosh, you're going to go to Vegas? Where you're at? Is it closer to go to Vegas than it is to go to LA?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, that's super cool, man. That's gonna be wild to see them play down there. Do you have a go-to AC/DC song?
I have a lot of AC/DC songs that I like. It's hard to pick.
It is hard to pick.
It's really hard to pick.
It's really
This is cool. I've been wanting to do this.
Well, yeah, we're super happy to have you, man.
I'm sorry about the technical difficulties.
I was just going to say the listeners and viewers don't know the lengths we went to get this interview off the ground. I'm happy that that we finally got it figured out.
Technical difficulties happen. It's not your fault. It's all good. So don't worry about it.
So you two have known each other a while.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We hand out quite a bit at in Phoenix, and
Yes, that was cool.
that was very cool. And we were
It
Facebook
was
friends
so
before
freaking,
that.
it was hot down there too. It was super hot. I was like
Oh
sweating like
man,
crazy.
yeah.
Remind me, Christopher, was that your first convention?
No, I've been to a couple.
Okay. Okay, so it wasn't your first. Okay, cool. It was a warm one, but we
Yeah.
We survived.
made it. We
Yeah, we survived, that's for sure.
Yeah, we did. What is out there that you want the people to know?
That I'm a good person, and I love just hanging around friends,
Mm-hmm.
and just being around them and talking to them and just have fun.
What makes a good friend to you?
A good friend is like you talk to see how their day's going and see what's wrong with them, and just talk to them and just be by their side when they're sad, and just always be there for them.
Yeah. What kind of things do you like to what kind of things do you like to talk about when you're hanging out with your friends?
I just like to talk a lot about stuff like
Music.
where we like to eat and stuff and go different places.
Mm-hmm.
Music and all good.
Music, yeah.
Music, their favorite movie they like, and all kinds of stuff.
Very cool. Do you have a favorite movie or kind of movie that you like to that you like to see?
I love Top Gun, so I'm a Tom Cruise fan.
There you go. Not bad.
Wow.
Not
That's a
bad.
great choice.
We were talking about AC/DC.
Yes.
Would they be? Are they band numero uno? Are they like top band on your list, or do you have a like an all-time fave band?
I've been listening to their music a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, been
Do you have-
listening.
I know, like my son has a really eclectic. His tastes of music are kind of all over the place, and I know Brendan's are kind of all over the place too.
Yeah.
Are you like that too? Where you
Yeah.
all kinds of different music?
Yeah, I love country music too. I love country music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A country version of Back in Black would be kind of cool.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't it? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
You could also do like a pretty killer like bluegrass version of Thunderstruck with Banjo.
I love that song. That is
yeah.
my other
Can you
favorite
imagine
song
that
I like.
the opening Angus riff
Yeah.
on a banjo?
That'd be kind of cool. I've never seen that before, but that'd be bad.
I think that would be awesome. Here, Keaton's here. We're gonna bring Keaton in. How you doing?
Yay.
Hello, how are you guys?
Good,
Good.
good. Meet Christopher, Jen, Christopher. We
Hi,
had
Jen.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. It's good to meet you.
we're talking about music. We're talking about mashups. Christopher is gonna get to go see AC/DC
Oh my God.
Yes.
soon. But he also likes country music, so we've been talking about country music versions of AC/DC songs.
Yes.
Because I want someone to do a bluegrass sort of country version of AC/DC's Thunderstruck with a banjo.
You know what? One of my
I love that
favorite-
song because that is my get going song a lot.
Yeah.
That song.
This will tell you how old that song is and how old I am. That was like our get going song back when I played soccer in high school.
Yeah.
We would play
That's cool.
stadium.
You know what? One of my favorite mashups is Earth, Wind, and Fire and Foo Fighters.
Oh, yes.
Mashup of the song Walk, but it's in song September.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
good.
Jen, are you much of an AC/DC fan?
I mean, I know their main songs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
Yes.
would think that's something that would be played when you're doing your boot camp, you're weightlifting and flipping tires and stuff like that you
Yeah. The gym I go to plays like a lot of like that kind of music. Christopher, I listen to a lot of hip hop.
That's fine. I don't mind hip hop.
It's just where my life goes. So if we were talking about like Ludacris, Jay-Z.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
well
cool.
versed in the country and the AC/DC classic rock, you think?
Yeah, I like
Kind of at this
AC/DC.
point, yeah. I mean
I
they were
love AC/DC. I'm a huge fan of them.
They were a pretty big. They were like the early days of metal.
Mhm.
I also like Aerosmith too. I love Aerosmith too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was great.
And Van Halen too. I love Van Halen too.
Okay. Big Van Halen question: David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
Sammy Hagar. I gotta go with Sammy Hagar.
There you go. Yeah, the Red Rocker.
Van Halen they played at the Midday Fair in Paso. I saw them in Paso, so that was a long time ago.
What was your
It was
what was your first concert?
My first-
Yeah.
My first concert was, man, I've been to a lot of concerts.
Mine was Duran Duran.
Ooh.
Good one.
Yeah.
I love
Mine
Duran
was
Duran.
when I was like 12 or 13. And I still
what-
have the photos of
Yeah.
it downstairs.
I can't wait to see them. Can't
Yeah.
wait.
I like Hungry Like the Wolf. I love that
Yeah, and I got to
song
meet
from
them too. It was really, really cool.
Oh.
You
Yeah.
got to meet them?
Yeah.
That's so.
No way. That's sick.
Yeah.
Krista, do you,
Thanks to my mom. My
do
lovely
you
mom.
remember your first? Do you remember your first concert though?
No, I don't.
Okay, Jen. What about you?
Do you remember yours, Joel?
I do.
Yeah, I have. So my parents were very musical, so I know I went to a lot of concerts like when I was a baby, and there's like a great little story of me like being like the youngest attendee of an Eric Clapton concert.
I love Aaron Clapton.
Me
He's
too.
good.
Yeah, but my first concert that I remember was Metallica.
Ooh.
Another, also a really good one.
I know.
I
right?
love Metallica.
And that would have been
oh my God.
if you were seeing that like, and that's the first one you remember, like, so you would have been like, that's preteen.
So it was like peak of Metallica fame. Yes.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, that probably would have been like Ride the Lightning era. You know, right
I
before
like Enter
Banjo.
Sandman. That's a good song.
Yeah.
Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matters. That's like one
Yes.
of my favorite songs.
For Whom the Bell Tolls. I love that song.
My very first concert, MC Hammer, baby.
Ooh, I love
jealous.
it.
That's
Yeah. Oh
sick.
my God.
Yep.
I'm jealous.
All right, I want to tell you, I was MC Hammer one time for Halloween, and nobody knew.
With the bag, with like the
Parachute pants.
the genie pants.
Yeah.
What they call?
Oh yeah, it was
Parachute
good.
Yeah, parachute pants, like the low hanging.
Yeah, it was cool.
You'd be a good MC Hammer. I like that costume.
Yeah, it was
Would be a good
cool.
costume.
Like too legit, too quick.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
and I was Elvis one time for Halloween too.
You got some
Yeah.
good.
Those are solid. That's some solid costumes.
And I was also Michael Jackson too. So I was Michael Jackson, Thriller, and Billie Jean. I love that song. I love Michael Jackson. He was a good singer.
Yeah.
I am sad. I never.
Too bad he's gone though.
I know. I never got to see him perform. So recently,
Yeah.
I've been going to concerts, like bucket list concerts. Last year, I went to Madonna. I went
Ooh,
to Abdul, New Kids on the Block.
New Kids. That's cool.
KOTB.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. Is there an artist that you haven't seen perform, and we'll not count AC/DC because you're going to go see them, but like a band that doesn't even exist anymore that you would have loved to have seen played live? We'll start with you, Chris.
I'd love to see Celine Dion.
Celine Dion.
Yeah, my grandparents went to see her in Vegas in that big theater, I think,
Yeah.
or the stage or whatever it's called.
And
My favorite Celine Dion song was "My Heart Will Go On." That song makes me cry so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me cry like nonstop.
I can never watch that movie again. Titanic, never again. Saw it once, so don't need to see it again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jack could have gotten on the door. I'm just saying. There was room. Brendan, band you always wish you could have seen perform live.
The Beatles.
Sure.
Beatles. Ooh.
Absolutely. 100%.
I love the Beatles.
Okay, so now I'm gonna have to think of somebody else because I was gonna say the Beatles too. Jen, what about you?
I got a toss up. Well, I got like 3.
Yeah.
Prince,
Ooh, Prince.
Whitney Houston,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then you
but also Fleetwood Mac, like the original, like the
the
Fleetwood
original lineup of Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would have been good.
After-
too.
I love me some.
Look at Brandon.
Yeah. That would have been good. I would have, so I mean, obviously the Beatles, I would have, just because I listen to a lot of them now with Bennett, I would have loved to have seen the original Toto lineup perform.
That would have been cool.
And I think, would have loved to have seen, oh boy, that Whitney Houston, good pull, but I would have loved to have seen Led Zeppelin, I think.
Oh, yeah, that would have been my second choice. Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne.
Yep.
I would love to see him.
Yeah.
I would like to see Cyndi Lauper again.
Yeah.
Oh, I would like her too.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be a good one.
You know what my favorite Prince cover is? When they did When My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Oh, when he just walks
Tom Petty
solo.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, that solo fire.
Amazing.
Fire.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You had all these amazing guitarists on that stage, and then he just comes out and he's like, "Oh, by the way,
I can do this."
it's also still my favorite Super Bowl halftime show when he was in the rain in Miami.
I like Purple Rain. That's a good song from him. I love that song.
I would have also liked to have seen Nirvana.
Oh, damn it. I should have said, darn it. Nirvana's good too. I'm gonna make a promise. I'm gonna come to the Buffalo, New York convention. That is my promise.
Well,
I'm coming. We're gonna have a blast.
Yep, you gotta come and then we'll rock out to some AC/DC and stuff. And Brendan and I and Jen's gonna be the lead singer, I think. We're gonna form a live band, I think, to perform in Buffalo.
That's cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
I have no doubt that your vocal stylings would blow.
5th grade, I was the Glinda the Good Witch in The Wizard of Oz, and I was in the children's chorale in my town. There you
go.
That's cool.
My vocal range is so good.
Nice.
All right.
Well, amazingly, Christopher, this has flown by, but we have reached the end of our time together.
I know.
It's been an awesome time hanging out with you. Really appreciate you coming on. I think this is a lot of this. This was a lot of fun for me. It was a
lot of fun for me too, actually.
Good. I'm glad you had a great time.
Glad we were able to make this happen. All right, buddy. Well, we will. Where can people find you if people want to reach out and say hi to Christopher? Where can they come find you?
They could come find me on my Facebook page, or they can find me on my phone.
Find you on your Facebook page. Well, let's go to the Facebook page, and then from the Facebook page, if you want to give them your phone number, you can do that.
Yeah.
Sounds great. All right, buddy. Thanks so much for coming on. Talk to you later.
I love you guys.
Bye,
buddy.
Buddy.
Later. Yep. Good Croutons and Hearts.
Croutons and Hearts, bud.
Where's our croutons?
I did this wrong again. Croutons and Hearts.
Ooh, those look good.
This has been the Starry-Eyed Podcast, presented by the Williams Syndrome Association. The show is hosted by Jennifer Keaton and Brendan Lemieux, and produced by me, Joel Listman. Theme song by Tommy Barbarella and Mariella Elm. Got a question for the show? Email us at podcast@williams-syndrome.org or message us at the Starry-Eyed Podcast page on Facebook. Video version of the podcast available on the Williams Syndrome Association channel on YouTube or on Facebook. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or comment on the video version, and maybe it will be featured on a future episode. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Starry-Eyed Podcast wherever you get your podcast delights.